Let me introduce Boris Perlin, who is the Director of Alliances and Partnership at Tricentis. Boris, it will be great, if you could introduce. I know you come from Boston and you've been with Tricentis for the last 3 years.
But I live in Boston, Massachusetts, in U.S. I joined Tricentis about 3 years ago as part of the Neotis acquisition. Today, my team and I run all of the partner business in Americas. We manage all the sell-with, sell-through partners, and we are glad to have you guys as our key and extremely valuable partner.
Absolutely, Boris. I know, Boris, you've been with Tricentis the last 3 years, but before that, you were part of Neotis, Neolode. You came through an acquisition, but help us understand a little bit about your overall background in the quality engineering and the automation space.
Sure. So, it's to be honest, when I joined Neotis in 2015, I didn't know anything about testing, right? So actually, I have an engineering undergraduate, business, MBA later on. My first job actually coming out of college was doing testing, but testing on semiconductor systems, right? From there, I went to the pre-sales. I went into did a little bit of sales. I did some marketing, done through a couple of startups. They say, you don't have to be a manic depressant to be in a startup, but it sure helps because of all the ups and downs. So I think when I joined Neotis, we were fairly a small company. I think the partner business in the U.S. was very small, about 10%. When Tricentis acquired us 3 years ago, the partner business for Neotis was about 80% in the U.S., so it was quite a big of a growth opportunity. We were very selective about the partners that we worked with. We make sure that the partners that we bring on board have a great reputation in order to make a customer successful, right? Because, and we follow the same thing with Tricentis, right? Because when you bring a product in, Tricentis got a customer to jump. And you need a partner like Narwal to make sure that we stick the landing, right? That the product is successful, the implementation is successful, the customer realize ROI out of the product, regardless what the product is, right? But you're not just basically selling a product, you're selling a solution with a partner that drives an ROI and solves the problem.
Excellent. I think that brings to my next question about, I'm sure, you have a great ecosystem, you have a lot of partners, a lot of choices to make. What are some of the basic considerations that goes through, when you kind of pick a partner, or maybe how do you build the ecosystem, and especially when you work with a partner like Narwal, right? How do you go about selecting or choosing a partner for a particular engagement or so on? So help us with that.
Right, so I think kind of like being an alliance is the most challenging part about alliances is sort of a lack of control, right? So because you don't own the end user and you don't own the partner works with you because they like to, right? They think they can make money. So really what you have to rely on is your reputation, right? So when I go together in front of my sales force and we go together in front of the customer, the only thing I can put on the table is my reputation. So when I come to the table and says Narwal should be your key partner to go with because they have a successful track record, they have the expertise in the business, they've done this multiple times, they understand your business, they understand our tools, they understand how to bring the whole thing together in order to make it a valuable solution for you. And that's really kind of what I think is the big emphasis is, can I trust the partner that I'm bringing into the conversation for me to make a valuable, decision for the customer that they can build their business on, they can rely their business on that solution set of, that we jointly bring together in front of them.
Excellent, excellent. So what is, so let's assume, now, I think some of the values that you talked about, right? As such, Narwal as a company also lives with the same values because we are extremely obsessed with our customer and we are bold and courageous in what we do. And And I think, as we say, you first, it be it our customer, be it our partner, be it our employee. That's exactly how we go about doing things. And I think that blends with, what Tricentis as a partner has been done, is doing, in terms of how to go and attract customers. And that's a win-win collaboration as such, we see from our perspective. Uh, Now, what are some of the things that you enable, in the partner ecosystem? Let's say you work with Narwal. So, what are the things that you actually do, in terms of probably the standard ways of enabling your partner, and what are some of the things that you do a little extra mile, for somebody who really cares and works with you in a win-win collaboration, in terms of, I probably say it as a premium offering or something over and above the standard.
Yeah, so I think we enable our partners, right? But some of the partners decide to build their business on Tricentis, right? So when they go to market first, they position Tricentis first because they believe that Tricentis product and platform are the best in the market. Narwal is such a company, right? So they go to market. You guys go to market as Tricentis first. Not that you don't, not that you're not product agnostic. Not that you don't put the customer value first. You guys definitely put the customer, requirements first. But you do believe that Tricentis, and we believe Tricentis, are the best tool to solve that problem, right? So, and when we've seen 1, 2, 10 successful engagements, when my sales team comes to me and says, who should we recommend as a partner? My first decision is Narwal, right? Because I don't have to lay at night thinking that, this partner might not have expertise in this specific tool, or they haven't had a lot of delivery experience on something else. I can say, if you really want to make sure that you first sale is successful, and then you basically draw that on top of that successful delivery into selling more and other things into a customer, Narwal is your best bet.
Absolutely, I think there's no doubt. Again, I would probably say this, right? Raj, who's our founder and CEO, was one of the primary person who actually implemented the flagship implementation of Tricentis Tosca in the US, and I think that started about a decade ago, and it kind of continues that we've invested in this partnership, because we see the value, and we've also helped in terms of evolving the Tosca DI product, given the various situations and scenarios that we work with our clients, help to provide requirements in terms of evolving the product itself, be it Tosca and Tosca DI. And I think that's been a key testament in terms of how we've actually invested in this partnership. One of the things that makes me interest to ask this, meaning again, I would like to quote Boris that Narwal has been the Tosca DI partner for the 3 times in a row, in the last
Absolutely.
4 years, and I think we've also been the transformation partner of the year, in 2023. Now, one leading question from what I want to see is, how is Tricentis evolving its product portfolio, and how is Tricentis looking at its partner ecosystem, keeping alignment with the product and the services portfolio?
Yeah, so I think kind of as a alliance person, sometimes the salespeople come to me and say, why didn't they recommend that product, right, another partner? And my message to them is that they don't get up in the morning thinking, how can I position Tricentis at all my customers, right? They get up in the morning trying to solve a problem for the customer. So we're not going to win all the deals that come to the table. We do need to make sure that we have the best product on the market, and we should be paranoid about that portion, that we do have the best product on the market, right? AI is doing a lot of disruptions. We need to be on the forefront of that disruption. If we're not there, somebody's going to disrupt us, and they should disrupt us, right? Because they should keep innovating, right? So it's really, what I'm encouraging my development team is I want to make sure that, we don't want to be me too. We need to be something better than me too, right? Let's try a bunch of different things. Not all of them are going to work out, but I want to show that we are bringing the most effective things to the market, right? So as a solution provider that's focusing on our tools, what you guys do in terms of building the assets on top of our products is fantastic, right? Because we do giving you sort of the, for the lack of a better analogy, a Lego set,
Right.
right?
Right.
Bricks, and you guys build that into something that's effective and useful for the customer, right?
More
Not
like an
only that,
accelerator, a framework.
yeah, not only allows you and them, well, no, allows you to deliver faster, but also allows them to realize the ROI of the investment faster as well.
Absolutely.
So, and then I think kind of when we go together and we figure out how do we disrupt sort of status quo, right? I think when we do the analysis at the end of the year of the deals and the quarter, like, you know, why did we lose or why did we not do business? Majority of the time is that because the customer decided to stay with an old solution. They decided not to change. They decided it's too risky, too costly, it's unknown to change. It's hard to change, right? I think early in my career, I had a manager who basically said, figure out why change, and why now. And if you can answer all those three questions, you'll win the deal, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's extremely important. And I think with Narwal, we are able to answer all those three questions.
Absolutely. One thing, Boris, we've seen, in our partnership, while meaning Tricentis is a great product, and you sell that to customers, and you need a partner like Narwal who's delivered successful engagement multiple times. So I think the biggest thing, when a customer is new to Tricentis, they bought the product, but they really don't know how to really use it and make the best use of it. And I think that's where a partner like Narwal will come in. And we've actually done it multiple times. It's basically what you call it as the enablement piece, where we conduct trainings for the customers to help understand various aspects of that. Of course, there's a preamble where Tricentis themselves do the installation and the basic setup of how to install the tool in the customer environment. But post that, how to make practical use of that particular tool in solving automation requirements, right? For an organization, be it a regression suite automation or an end-to-end testing suite automation. That's exactly how Narwal as a partner has been successful in educating the customer, selecting a few use cases in terms of automating those, showing them the value, and the entire ecosystem, just not automation but also the DevOps integration and integration within their the testing ecosystem as such. Now one of the key things as a partner is what we are interested to see is as a follow-up to this, right? Post the pre-training and the enablement, how does a partner like Narwal look in terms of extending this into a bigger piece of work, which is hand-holding is done, right? There's a huge opportunity that lays, and I think we've seen customers do one of the two, right? They basically want to get the knowledge transition within their organization and they want to kind of take it on, but we've seen that they kind of falter, because they don't understand the architecture, the design principles, the automation approach, and they struggle with actually getting coverage in terms of the automation and also the ROI, and that's where we've been called back to help them solve those problems which have not been able to do by themselves, and I think two parts of my question, right? One is I think Narwal has always been there as a Tricentis partner to take on this, but I think selfishly for us, we are also trying to understand how could we take that overall professional services on ourselves, which is also a win-win situation for Tricentis because of the lack of bandwidth. You need partners like Narwal to take it on, and for Narwal, I think that's the game that we want to play, right? It's just not an enablement, but we also really want to take it on a bigger scale so that we actually have a continued engagement and a stickiness, and establish automation and using Tricentis product as a footprint to gain that business. Any thoughts on how do you want to approach this and make it in a win-win collaboration?
So I guess if I look at kind of like how I went through school and how my kids go through school, they really love the subjects that have the best teachers. Having that right partner that can do the knowledge transfer, it can really enable the team on the ground in a meaningful way that they can actually use what they've seen work, or that was we see kind of like, you know, a portion of the stuff has been implemented for them, take it into the next step is extremely important, right? The other aspect of it is, as Tricentis products have a huge technology span, right? As we like to say, from mainframe to mobile, or to mobile to mainframe, depends on which way you come from, right? So when you come in as, you know, when our products get purchased as for a specific solution, let's say whether it's a Salesforce, an SAP, warehouse management system to get implemented and tested, that's just one tiny sliver of the business that, you know, majority of our enterprise customers have thousands and thousands of applications that they test and they rely on the business on a daily basis, right? Also, the application, majority of enterprise applications don't live in silos. They integrate with other applications, right? So as you come in and basically make one project successful, there's a huge opportunity to expand into other business units, talk about integration, talk about de-risking the implementation, de-risking delivery, de-risking the user environment, helping customers understand that their, you know, the weakest link could be the downfall of everything they've been built, right? So not only do you need to look at performance, you need to look at functional, you need to look at data. If they are, you know, if they are working on the new AI systems, you can't train AI on bad data, so you need to make sure that your foundation is solid before you start building higher up, right? And you guys have the expertise of kind of like looking at the business holistically and understand, okay, here's how we're going to de-risk your application business, whether they, you know, use technology, deliver value, or they use technology to really, you know, make their business on technology. It's really, you know, you guys can come in and understand, you know, like, here's our priority sets, here's what we need to make sure is solid first, till we jump to the next one and next one, right? But understanding that holistically, the whole IT organization, it's extremely important, right? One of the partners that I used to manage was EMC before in my life, and EMC CEO used to say, nobody buys hardware for the sake of buying hardware. There's an application running on that hardware somewhere. And the same thing, nobody buys testing tools for the sake of testing tools. That testing tool needs to test some mission critical application. That is truly somebody is running the business on it. So you need to make sure it's rock solid before it goes to production.
Yeah, I think it has to deliver value. I think that's the point here. Yeah, exactly. Now, I think from our perspective, Boris, we've always seen, you know, Tricentis products, you know, were an apart, you know, and then, you know, that's how we actually implemented with our customers, and I think our customers are also have been very happy, you know, with the overall automation solution and the product implementation as such. I just want to understand, you know, how do you see, you know, Narwal as your partner, you know, and delivering value in this collaboration as such? Anything that you want to?
It's simple. Like, I sleep at night. I don't have to worry about, you know, that you guys. Yeah, I know that you guys will put the right resource on the project. You'll have the right value to the customer. You'll have the right joint message to the customer. So it just makes our life a lot simpler when we bring you guys to the table.
Thank you. A leading question, you know, I think we just kind of covered this a little bit earlier, but I just want to get a little more deeper. Future of Tricentis, right? You know, if you were to look at now, the evolution of, you know, the technology has been, you know, Tricentis has been, you know, in the test automation space, and I think it's evolving as a company, and right from the on-prem to the cloud implementation, solving problems in terms of not just automating the web applications, APIs, you know, testing the data integrity, a lot more things, right? You know, now as we set forward, you know, in the future, there's a lot of buzz on the AI. Meaning we've heard about Tricentis making a lot of inroads, you know, in leveraging AI, especially generative AI. Anything that you would like to kind of comment on that, so that the partners really know what to expect in the overall Tricentis product portfolio, and what is the message to your partners in terms of what should the partners be looking forward in terms of collaborating as we move forward.
Yeah, so Tricentis is very focused on making our existing products better, and we're always looking to add to our portfolio, whether we do internal development or we look to outside to augment the portfolio with other things, right? I don't know I don't have a crystal ball, of things that are going to come. I know we need to be extremely focused on delivering value to a customer, listen to a customer, what the customers want. Our partners are really sort of the in the forefront of with our customers, kind of translating for us what the customers are asking for. So you guys are extremely important in our product focus and product decision. So I think it's been incredible partnerships, and looking forward to continuing.
Absolutely. I think I certainly see a synergy between Tricentis and Narwal. Narwal is a company which is focused on only 4 areas. Right now it is automation, which is test automation. We are into data and cloud, and also the AI/ML. I think with those exclusive focus areas, and now Tricentis is also playing in that space, for long, and I think the decade of partnership that we've actually established. So Boris, I think we mentioned about our partnership and how successful has this partnership been. But one of the things that I'm curious to know, right, while we are in the back end delivering the services to the end client, could you kind of talk about one of the engagements, or what do you actually hear from the end client, about Tricentis is the product and the implementation services as such?
Sure. So one of the engagement comes to mind is Flowers Food, large bread manufacturer based in Georgia, U.S. That was struggling with migrating from old version of SAP to SAP S/4HANA. I think the challenges that they had is that all of the testing was done manually. When there was a new releases that were coming out, they're spending tremendous amount time and effort in testing those things. They were not sure about the data, if the data was correct in the old system before they were migrating to the new system, and they were also not sure if they were covering testing too much, too little, what their risk base was, and so on. So together we were able to introduce them to Tricentis products such as Tosca DI, and Live Compare, where your team come in and did a tremendous job in assessing the requirements that the customer had, but also setting them the path where they should be going to in the next 5 years. So not only were they successful migrating to the new version of SAP, but they also reduced all of their manual testing, automated all of their regression testing. They were making sure that the data that was being transitioned from the old system to the new system was all validated. And now they understand kind of like where the risk lies, where, when SAP is coming up with the new releases, they understand what's impacting their test cases, how to change those test cases, and how to even further reduce their testing time as required.
What's the business team, how do they see the impact? Any metrics that you can kind of quote about?
I think to the business team is, it's they're certain that the data that they're using is correct. They were able to save time and money in moving to the new version of SAP, and now they're looking to expand how Tricentis products and Narwal can help them with other, other initiatives in the company.
Okay. Any specific numbers you want to kind of comment in terms of the percentage cost savings or the time effort?
I think, my memory serves me right. I think they were able to reduce the automation, required time to test by 300%. The automation rate went up by 50%. if not higher. They were extremely successful in understanding where the risk coverage is and how do they have and even more important is they have a path of where they need to get not only with SAP future releases, but how to test other applications that integrate with
I certainly feel that we have been set up for a huge success taking forward. Thanks for your time, Boris, and it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Appreciate the partnership.
Thank you.